Hello noble ones and welcome to Metatron's Academy. Today we're reacting to a fantastic channel that of course you're all aware of, and it's the channel Evil Dia, friend of the channel. Although then again, the more I look at that profile picture, the more I consider the possible implications of such a statement. With that being said, 2 weeks ago he made this video called Language YouTube is Dead Niche. And I do appear on the thumbnail wearing my 15th century Milanese breastplate, for whatever reason you chose that one, but hey. I don't believe I'm actually featured on the channel, I'm just on the thumbnail, but regardless, I imagine due to this channel, I belong to the language community as well, even though this is only a secondary channel for me. Anyways, the overall video is good, and the information is excellent, but I do believe that there are some sections of this video that ended up misinforming, inadvertently, and those sections that we will review, where I believe Evil Dia is incorrect about, don't generally remove from the overall value of the video production. It's still a very good video and I think you should watch it in its entirety, but he's wrong on a few aspects, particularly when it comes to the financial possibilities or revenue or money that you can make when it comes to a YouTube channel focused on languages. Let's check this out.
What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a little bit of a strange language learning video for you all. So normally what I do on a day-to-day basis is I upload a video where I do react to someone. It's either someone presenting their language learning methodology, something related to languages that I find kind of fascinating, or I drop a big investigation video which generally takes the life out of me, and those are the ones that are the successful ones on this channel. Or what I do is I upload a video for one of my mini challenges that I'm running at any one time. However, I have been facing an issue recently, and it is something that is becoming more and more of a problem as I go along. And that problem is that the language learning space is fucking dead. There is nothing happening in the YouTube space for learning languages. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds a little bit crazy. There's like fucking millions of people out there learning languages. I see new channels all the time popping up with, content. Like, there's literally a new channel every day. Yeah, that is true. But here's the thing, guys. There isn't the audience for all those channels, and every single one of these channels is producing the exact same fucking content over and over again, just repackaged. You either get people
So he's up to this point, he's starting very strong. I agree with him. I think the statement that the language space is dead is a little exaggerated, but then again, the overall information I would say is correct. It's definitely not one of the most, or should we say, easiest spaces to tackle when you want to make YouTube your career, because we are going to go into the money, of course. But anyways, I just want to make sure that I'm not covering Elmo, because if there is one, we don't want to disrespect. There you go.
Presenting ways to legitimately learn languages, and each video is just like a slight tweak of the pre-existing formula. There's not that many formulas, okay? Or it's someone out here selling complete and utter bullshit. And I kind of enjoy, taking those videos down because I know the formulas. There's only so many formulas that exist to learn a language.
Yeah.
And when someone comes along with bullshit, it's pretty obvious to me.
Absolutely right.
But this does present a problem. There is not the views or the audience to sustain this type of work that I do on this channel, okay? Now, you might be thinking, but aren't you in it for just the love of it, Evil Dear? Don't you just want to, make videos about languages? Yeah, I fucking do. I do. But at the same time, I need to make some mullah to make this worth my time because, I could be spending this time just sitting here at home by myself.
Or with Elmo.
Learning languages, or better yet, learning a skill that will actually make me an income. So yes, I do this for the shits and giggles of it because, I'm a full-time game developer. But I also, like every YouTuber out there, have grandiose dreams about growing my channel and also talking about other interests that pop up in my life, such as health, which is a new one that's just started. But I wanted to present to you how fucking dead this space really is.
That's the part where I'm going to start to disagree with him, because as you see, the general message that he's sharing is if you're in it for making money, it's dead and you won't make that much money, right? Now, I'll let him qualify that because I don't want to strawman the man. But generally speaking, that's the idea. And I disagree. I think there is a lot of money that can be made in this space without having to do the scams, if you will, or the frauds. Of course, I'll show you some analytics to prove that.
Because I feel like you, as language learners, might actually be curious. So I'm going to give you a moment. Just a moment. Tell me, how many people do you think there are learning languages and consuming language learning content, at least on YouTube? What do you think? Millions? There's got to be millions of people, right? Like, we know in every country there's people learning languages. So there has to be millions of people on YouTube consuming content about learning languages. Nope. Definitely not. Try that number again. Maybe 1 million? No way in hell. Nowhere near that. Keep going down. 500,000? Nope. 100,000? You'll be pushing it. 50,000? Now we're getting closer. So we're somewhere between the 50 and the 100K mark. That's right. No matter how big your YouTube channel is, if all you talk about is learning languages or stuff related to learning languages, you will not grow beyond that.
Okay, yeah, I wish he told us where he get that figure. So perhaps it's something he might clarify on a response video or another video where he also takes into consideration the data that I will show you in a second. But addressing this at face value, I think I could agree with the statement that there aren't a lot of people that you can sort of rely on as continuous viewers of your channel and consumers of your products, right? Because a video is a product. If you stick to language learning only, but because he added the N related topics, no, that broadens it a lot. Once again, I'll go into the details in a second. I want to let him speak.
There's proof of this, and I'm going to show you all the proof. Now, you might just think, well, hang on, Evil Deer, maybe it's because you're a shit YouTuber.
No.
Well, I probably am. I'm not even talking about myself here. I'm talking about all the legends in this space. Every YouTube channel. I just did a deep dive on every single YouTube channel, and I had a look at this, and the numbers stand up. I think on a day-by-day basis, you're going to average out somewhere between 50 to 100K people interested in learning languages. Now, those could consist of new people learning languages and coming to YouTube and doing some search, or the people who just live online just consuming content.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, if you guys are like me and you do consume probably more content than you should, you probably noticed as of recently that there really is a problem. There's nothing really interesting coming out anymore. So we've kind of hit this really interesting point where this is a dead niche. There's no way for people to go anywhere substantial in this niche beyond selling bullshit.
I completely disagree. So I agree with the first part. Let me restate that. So I agree with the first part. It's really difficult to find originality. You can find people that give it a new spin, or maybe people who are particularly charismatic at it. But then again, as he says, beyond like Lang Focus or Xiaoma and people that actually have millions of subscribers, it could be considered a dead niche in the sense that it's difficult to keep it original. But the fact that he thinks that that means that it's not going to go anywhere financially, he's incorrect.
Or selling out in some other way, or just accepting the fact that this will never be what they can do, unless they add a very interesting spin on it.
Okay.
So we're going to take a look at the numbers. So we're going to have a look. This is Steve Kaufman, okay? You all know him. He's a legend in this space. He's been here since, I don't know, since I've been in a nappy, he's been making videos, probably obviously not on YouTube, but the point being he's been doing it for a long time.
Sure.
1.4 million subs.
Huge.
Now let's look at a per video basis, the views he's getting. 29K. 26K, 19, 52, 74, 19, 19, 53.
So he has a point, right? For a million plus almost 1.5 million, these numbers are extremely low. And of course, he's going to connect this to the fact that if you don't get big numbers, you won't make much money. And if you don't make money, this cannot be financially stable as anything but a little hobby. Right? But that's incorrect. These numbers will be absolutely fine to make very good money, but you have to post like a maniac. He posts 4 days ago, 11 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But if he had these numbers and posted every day or twice a day, he would be making bank. Just so we're clear, I'll prove it with the analytics.
30K, 20K, 77, 94. On
94
a
is
per
good.
video basis, he is barely cracking 100K views.
Oh no,
unless it's just a random blowout video, or
probably has an average of 20 at this point. 20,000 is
that video is substantially aged. Okay, I'm talking at least several months old.
Sure.
So if this is the biggest channel regarding learning languages, I'm not talking people that in some way use languages, and we'll look at them later. This is terrible. This is a terrible representation of what you can achieve if you just want to cover off on this topic, okay? Now, you might be thinking, Evil Deer, that's a per video basis, but what about overall? How many views is he getting, like, every day across his whole channel? Well, as a YouTuber,
Social
I can
Blade.
share those stats with you because there is websites dedicated to that stuff.
Sure.
So, here we have Social Blade, and you guys can use this to explore all your favorite YouTubers, okay? Have a look at this. On a day-to-day basis, he's getting 58K, 28K, 81K, 49, 49, 38, 68. And then he cracks 100K when he drops a video, okay? and then it goes back down to 21K, stuff like that.
More important than that, you should look at his overall monthly views. Those are the ones that really matter if you want to figure out how much money he's making.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's interesting. Have a look at those estimated earnings. You see that money range that it says there?
Yeah.
How much money he makes on a day-to-day basis, okay? Now, for some of you guys, you're going to be like, fuck me dead, he's making like bank. And then for others, you might be thinking, 1.4 mil subs? That is shit. Okay? Realistically, this is shit. Okay? So...
Let me open his Social Blade very quickly just to follow along. Okay, here he is. It's not shit. Look at this. $7,400. And you might be thinking, yeah, but it says a range between $400 and $7,000. It's always the highest. And in fact, usually it's higher than what it says. Just so you know. So this guy is making probably between $7,000 to $8,000 a month. That is not, well, yeah, sure. For a channel with 1.4 million, he should be making a lot more money than this. But for a lot of people on the planet, $7,000 or $8,000 a month without even going into possible Patreon, merch, and sponsors, right? So we have to keep this real, if you know what I mean.
He is making, let's say, on a day when he drops a video, he'll make $200 on that day. Type of thing. 200 American dollars. Now, if you live outside of the US, let's say in South America or something, you might be like, ooh, that's really good money. But there's also a lot of countries where you can't even monetize your channel. So just be aware of that.
Sure.
So anyway, but you can see it's a range. It's between 7 and 116.
No, it's always the highest. Like, I mean it. It's always beyond the highest. I have checked so many channels, including all of my channels. And every time I check my channels and I see what the money that they are considering your AdSense is, it's always higher than what they say at the maximum. And I checked with other channels that I know how much money they make. And yeah, so the lowest one, it's never the case. It is always the higher end beyond. That's how you calculate that.
20 and 325. So this is a good representation of why a lot of channels have to keep upping their bullshit about what's achievable just to try and scrape in those very few views that do exist. Now you might be thinking, well, Steve's kind of boring. Like, who wants to watch Steve? Like, I know a lot of people are not interested, but I started with him and it doesn't get any better. Okay. So let's have a look. We've got Language Jones, okay?
Yeah.
5K, 34K, 78K, 11K, 9K, 9K, 5K.
Once again, the problem here, if you wanted to do this for money as well as for passion, the optimization is the number of uploads. I mean it. It's why on my main channel now I'm posting twice a day. It's just the best thing to do if you want to make this the way you make money. And on the second channel, this one here, I have been posting every day, although lately, due to the fact that I had to kind of focus a little bit on the main, I reduced the number of uploads on this channel a little bit, which of course meant that the revenue went down significantly, but I will get back up to daily because it's the only way to make this make sense. And that's AdSense alone.
10K. It doesn't look any better. Let's go to the next one. Days and Words. Now, he's not really a language learning channel. He's more like shares reviews almost. And I enjoy his content. I'm not saying I don't enjoy any of these people's content. I'm just pointing out that this is a dead niche. So we got 43, 12, 10, 7, 50, 18, 10. Let's go to the next one. Mikkel.
Right, but that channel is dead, right? Last time he posted was 5 months ago, and that's the latest. So this also is a contributing factor. Not to be a contrarian, but I'm just pointing that out.
12, 10, 7, 50, 18, 10. Let's go to the next one. Mikkel. Now, Mikkel is actually blowing up. He's growing quite fast.
Good
I'd say he's probably one of the fastest language learning channels on YouTube, growth-wise. Yep. The guy who exaggerates to the fucking moon just so happens to be the fastest growing channel. Who would have guessed?
I know.
But yes, that is the case. But here's the thing, okay? 34K views, 23, 7, 19. Let's go down. 6, 12, 2, 3.
I'd like to underline he has 30,000 subs though. So this is actually these are decent numbers. They were horrible numbers for someone like Steve Kaufman. But for him, generally speaking, if you want to know if a channel is being at least decently successful in terms of views, is when a channel gets at least 20% possibly of his user base or subscribe number into actual views. So if you have 100,000 subs, you should in theory get 40,000 views per upload, at least. And if you have 30,000, he should have 6,000 to 7,000 at least. So the fact that he's getting 7 here, 19, 23, believe it or not, the views are fine for his subscribe base. In fact, I get lower views generally on my channel, this one here, than I should, but then some of the videos go viral and that compensates.
So I am pretty sure, I almost would bet money on it by end of next year he'll be cracking 100k and his views might be maybe double. But it ain't going to go up much beyond that because there is not the audience for it.
That's fine.
We can just see this across all channels. Let's go to Lewis. Okay, Lewis, he's got 3, less than a K, 8, 2, 12, 9, 28, 5. And he's interviewing experts in some cases, okay? And they're just not there. The views are just not there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to another one. Matt vs. the World. Matt vs. Japan. His main channel doesn't really upload anymore, so it wouldn't be a fair comparison.
Yeah, but then again, the 5,000 subscribers, you have to consider the number of subscribers and only 16 videos. So, and the only reason why he even gets views is because people know who he is, a lot because of the controversy.
Let's look at his new channel. He's getting way more views than he has subs.
The controversy.
Now, this happens generally when someone's presenting good videos about a topic and there's an audience for it, okay? But you'll notice that the audience is not that big. If the audience was bigger, he would probably, because with the quality of videos that he makes, be getting a lot more views. So he will continue to grow fast. He will gain subs on this channel fast, but the views will tap out just like all the others. Tony Marsh, 16k, his views have kind of died as of recently because some of the content isn't quite up there. Lindy Bots, okay, she does really good quality. She's legitimate, well respected across the board. 66k, 14, 6.
6 is
14,
really,
42, 12, 19, 11. Like, this is terrible for a YouTuber, okay? If you want to be a YouTuber and make a living doing this, you cannot do this just from, AdSense alone. Now,
incorrect. She can't do it because she posts once a month, 3 times a month. This is like, I really mean it. And I'll prove it. I know I keep saying I'll show you my analytics. I'll show you my analytics and I'll show you what happens if you post every day on a channel like this one. That's the only thing we have to say about this, Evil Dia.
And make a living doing this. You cannot do this just from, AdSense alone. Now, obviously, they have to do sponsorships if they want to make this a job. So if a YouTuber is working as a YouTuber, they have to do sponsorships at this size. So let's go have a look at Ollie Richards, okay? Ollie Richards, 500,000 friggin' subs. 10k, 15, 4, 30, 12, 33, 18, 18.
Oh, no.
So, what does this mean? Well, I guess we should actually have a quick look at my own channel. Although I don't do just language learning, I'm kind of more of a scatterbrain channel, just with a language kind of like focus in a way, I guess. Except for that one, that's health. 3, 4, 6, 3, 5, friggin'. Then when I actually cover language learning, like I present some methods, 7. Where was another one that I did that? Oh yeah, that was that 5 one. And then, when I do call-outs and stuff, that's when I start getting more views. Where's the last one? Or I do investigations. Investigations is where it's at. That's where I get all my views. Now, I'd love to do more, but it is pretty hard now, time-consuming. But it is interesting because I do see a lot of people in the comments section saying, Evil Deer, can you please make more videos about learning languages? I could, but there isn't the audience for it. It's not you guys who watch me. You guys are good. You're sweet. But overall, on YouTube, there's not the audience for it. In fact, if I want the audience, I have to step out of the language space. Now, I did this, one about, my health journey and stuff, and it's got shit views, but that's to be expected. Same thing happened when I stepped out of the Esperanto space into languages. Now, you guys might be thinking, does that mean I'm leaving languages? No. It just means that just like I never truly left Esperanto, I complemented it with other stuff. I will be complementing my channel with other things because I don't want to be stuck in a dead niche. This niche, unfortunately, is a dead niche. But there is many ways to use languages to benefit or to grow, basically. And a great example of this is Salma. So these channels are where the views are at. If you are interested in languages and you want to make a YouTube channel, don't make a YouTube channel that teaches people how to learn languages. I know that sucks for people who want to learn how to learn languages, but there is not the audience for it. It is a terrible idea. In fact, find an interesting way to utilize your languages as part of something separate. So for example, Salma, he does the whole, impressing people on the street thing. And I know a lot of people disrespect that, but boy, oh boy, does that bring him the views. Look at this. 6 million fucking views, okay? And then if you look at the actual views, some of these videos get more views than he has subs.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. If you want to use languages, find a way to use them in a funny way in real life, okay?
Sure, I mean, Xiaoma is super rich.
Okay? That's where you're going to get the views, okay? Now, does that mean that's the direction I'm going? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm a commentary channel. I talk about random shit and commentary on it. That's what I'm literally doing right now. I'm giving you guys commentary on the language learning space because, boy, oh boy, is this space fucking dead. There is nothing going on.
So, how much money can you make if you start a YouTube channel? So, I'd like to underline this. I really believe is misunderstanding. This is a misunderstanding that a lot of creators have and people outside of YouTube. So the idea is people think that if there is a YouTuber, he posts a few videos and his videos constantly get 300,000 views. And then you have another YouTuber who posts videos and his videos get 40 or 50,000. And you think, well, the YouTuber with higher numbers is the most successful. Therefore, he's also the one that is making more money. His business model is more profitable. Incorrect. Because if you have a YouTuber that posts 3 or 4 times a month, even if his views are like 300,000 guaranteed per upload, but then you have a YouTuber that posts every single day, even though they average much lower views, they will make 5 times the kind of money that the previous YouTuber will make. Also because constant upload helps triggering the spamming of archive content, which is how your back catalog continues to produce money. And of course, the more videos you have, the better. Going into the analytics. Now, looking at my language channel here that we are discussing, Metatron's Academy, I have 130,000 plus subscribers. So I'm kind of mid-range, right? And I think this is good because I can be an example of something that is somewhat attainable, right? Because if we look at people that like Xiaoma or people in general that have like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, yeah, that's something that statistically is not going to happen to anyone, even if you try, unless you're like a minute portion of the content creator space. But 100K is doable if you put enough work. And for me, it took me about 300 videos now given. I chose this name. In fact, my wife suggested this name specifically because the name Metatron is already a brand due to my existing main channel. Effectively, it was easier for me to grow the channel and also kind of do a little bit of self-PR. So it might take you longer to reach this level of audience. But if we look at the views, my views are pretty low. Right? 8,000, 15,000, 2,000, 5,000, 14, 22, 4, 22, 3, 5, 7, right? We have the occasional 90,000 from a month ago, 18, 24, 25, 25, then we have a 98, 16. So we have the occasional outlier, like this one, for instance, 370,000, and then generally 112,000. But as he was saying, these took 2 months, right, together. So in general, whenever I post a video, the views are pretty bad. However, these views in the month of September, for instance, and the reason why I'm using September is because I consistently posted every day, generate $4,000. $4,000, that's a lot of money with low views. How did I do it? Because I post every day. So to think, this is why to say that this space is not there for making money unless you like sell yourself out or anything is incorrect, because I think a lot of people out there would be very happy to make $4,000 without even looking into sponsors, merch, and Patreon, just from AdSense. That's pure AdSense. It's not 4,000 net. It's 4,000 gross because it needs to be taxed. But then again, in America, you can do quite a few write-offs as a content creator because you're a freelancer. So there are ways around that to still be financially really good. But the other thing is that when you spam like this and post every day consistently, what happens is that every single day you roll your dice. You're rolling your dice every single day, and then one video might go viral. And in fact, this video of mine 3 months ago did go viral. It got 2.1 million views. And then the following videos, this one 700,000. And those 2 videos alone, in combination with continuous daily posting, generated this. In 1 month, $15,000. So this money was created in the language space with a general average of very low views, but the occasional ultra outlier, which can happen. Even though his analysis isn't incorrect per se, I think the missing point was this crucial aspect. If you love YouTube, you have a passion, and you love languages, or whatever niche you're into, but in this case we're talking languages here, and you're thinking, man, I really wish I could spend so much time. It's not about greed, by the way, but I want to spend more time. I want it to be my job. I want to do this as a career. It is difficult to get to these numbers. But the idea that it's impossible, or the idea that, oh, you're never going to get that through AdSense, is incorrect. The reality is you're never going to get this kind of money through AdSense unless you spam for a consistent amount of time. Because remember, I did a lot of daily, I'm talking like consistency is the key. And this is what people tend not to have, because they think, well, I'll never, like right now I'm making $50 a month. This is useless. This is pointless. Maybe they post, even if they post every day, which takes a lot of energy, right? A lot of dedication, editing and all that. So you do that, maybe you do it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and you don't see actual results, then they give up. I didn't give up. I just kept doing daily, post, never break the chain, post. I did it for a long time, about a year. And then this happened. Now, currently the money is a little low. We are in the 3,000 range with this channel, but I'm not posting every day. So if I start posting every day, which I will, by the way, I was just busy with the other channels. But if I do resume posting every day, the money will go back up to 4,000 as a basis. And then once we hit a few outliers again, which will happen, the money will go back up and maybe go to 6, 7, 10, 15. We'll see. I mean, 15, to be fair, was exceptional for a channel this size. So that happened, I guess. It's not like I'm expecting that to happen again, but I'm trying, because that would be great. Anyways, this is just to say you don't need to compromise yourself or what you believe in, or just become a fraud in order to make money through AdSense. No. In order to make money in the language space, you can make good money with AdSense. It's just so you got to be consistent and post like a maniac. That's all I got to say. It's not the only thing. You need to maintain a certain level of quality. You need to be interesting. You need to have good thumbnails. You need to have good titles. You need to think about, there are a lot of aspects to this, but the consistency and the number of times you post is a lot more important than people think. With that being said, massive hello to Evil Dia. Always respect your work, man. Keep it up. And in fact, post more, my friend.